2024 will be a pivotal year for crypto. So today, I'm sharing my 10 most important crypto market predictions for the year ahead. How high will Bitcoin go? Will Ethereum finally see the flippening? Which sectors in crypto will see the most growth this year? These are the trends I am keeping a close watch on in order to maximize my profits in 2024. Welcome back to the Virtual Bacon channel. My name is Dennis. I'm a crypto angel investor for the past 6 years, and I have invested in over 100 crypto companies. On this channel, I share my views on market trends and investing strategy to build wealth in crypto. Now, the other day, I was looking back at my top predictions for 2023, and I was actually pretty spot on. So we had to run it back. But before we get started, make sure to comment down below your wildest predictions for the year ahead. All right, my first market prediction is for Bitcoin to reach $80,000 by the end of 2024. Now that the Bitcoin Spot ETF has launched, the next major event to watch is the Bitcoin halving, which is coming up on May 18th, 2024. Historically, this is the most bullish time to get into Bitcoin, as the months before the Bitcoin halving and the 6 months after is when Bitcoin pushes towards a new all-time high. You can track this by going on TradingView and using the BTC halving rainbow indicator, and that gives you this color coding on the price of Bitcoin, which correlates to the Bitcoin halving cycles. These color codes refer to how many days we have until the next Bitcoin halving event. And as you can see, in the last 3 Bitcoin halving events, the price after the halving event actually happened really started to accelerate, and it usually takes about 6 months until Bitcoin makes a new all-time high. In the 2012 halving, it went from November to only around February, so this was only 3 months time, and Bitcoin already pushed past the previous all-time high. Then in 2016, it took from July until February of the second year, so that's about an 8 months time. And then in 2020, May Bitcoin halving, we had May 11, and then in the 2020 Bitcoin halving, it took about 7 months until Bitcoin made a new all-time high. So on average, about 6 months, which means 6 months after the 2024 Bitcoin halving will lead us right into November of this year, where Bitcoin should be breaking above the previous all-time high of around $68,000. Assuming the price will accelerate into the bull run, I think $80,000 is a good target by the end of the year. Now, when will we actually see the Bitcoin market top? I don't think this will be reached in this year, and instead will extend into mid-2025. Looking at the Bitcoin halving cycles again, usually the first peak above the previous all-time high is not the all-time high of the cycle. Instead, the cycle usually extends about 1 to 1.5 years after the Bitcoin halving event. And this is why I'm targeting Q3 of 2025 for Bitcoin to reach this cycle's top. And I'm targeting $200,000 as a average target. The second market prediction I have is for the US presidential elections to be a make or break event for the future of crypto. Now, most other speculators are saying the election years are always good for the markets. I was in this camp initially, but after doing some research, I found that the data does not support this. Sure, there will not be huge shakeups this year before the election actually happens in November, but the data of previous election years does not indicate any standout performance in the stock market and in turn in crypto. So here you can see on average, all previous US election years saw a 11% average return for the S&P 500. This is just above the 10% average expectation for the S&P 500. So there really isn't any correlation between the election years and the markets doing well. However, the actual election results of 2024 will matter hugely for the future of crypto afterwards in the next 4 years. This is because the US presidential candidates all have very different stances on crypto. For example, Democratic leading candidate Joe Biden says he wants to propose a 30% tax on Bitcoin mining. He's also kind of favorable towards exploring CBDC, which honestly is probably going to be against crypto. And he also wants to prioritize retail investor protection with regulation. So is that positive or negative? Is there going to be more regulation? That is unclear. On the other side, the Republican leading candidate Trump have said before that he thinks Bitcoin is a scam, and he is also favorable towards CBDCs. So you see, there really isn't much of a good choice here. Neither are very pro-crypto. However, if by low chance any other candidate wins the nominations, that could be a huge win for crypto. Because, for for example, Vivek Ramaswamy, one of the candidates for Republicans, says Bitcoin is a decentralized alternative to the dollar. He also proposed removing tax restrictions on mining and doesn't want to employ CBDC. Another Republican candidate, Ron DeSantis, have vowed to protect Bitcoin from regulation. He wants to introduce anti-mining tax, etc. RFK also has said that he believes crypto is a major innovation engine. He's also against the mining tax and against CBDC. In the latest national polls, it looks like it will be a Trump versus Biden type of presidential election, but this is one of the most important things to watch this year in case it becomes ultra bullish for Bitcoin if any other candidate can win the nomination. The presidential election results also influences changes in regulators we'll get in the future. The most obvious case is the SEC chairman Gary Gensler potentially being replaced. What happens in the Senate is also super important, as some of the biggest blockers in crypto policymaking come from senators such as Elizabeth Warren, who is part of the Democrat Party. So if the balance of power in the Senate shifts where the Democrats no longer have control and instead the Republicans are in control, this could be potentially beneficial for crypto, as more pro-crypto bills can be introduced without these anti-crypto senators influencing the financial committee's decisions to pass these bills. Honestly, there's still so much more to talk about around the presidential elections this year and how it affects crypto adoption in the US. By the end of the year, the election results could bring some huge shifts for regulations. It can go super well or even disastrous depending on how the election goes. So make sure to keep following this. If you made it this far in the video, please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a like. Another thing I couldn't have predicted this year was how fast this channel would have grown. So thank you guys for everyone that have commented and joined this community. This year, we got the silver play button for 100,000 subscribers, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. My number 3 prediction for this year is for the Ethereum Spot ETF to be approved and for Ethereum to become popular again as a narrative and reach $7,500 by the end of the year. I have already made a full video on why I think the Ethereum ETF will be approved and the actual timeline. So in summary, the ETF is most likely going to happen by the end of May, which follows a very similar path to approval as the Bitcoin Spot ETF we saw in January. You can check this video called Why I'm Betting Heavy on Ethereum for the next 4 months on the channel. Now, I'm not saying Ethereum will flip Bitcoin. I think that's a very, very far-fetched stretch. However, the Ethereum versus Bitcoin ratio chart is actually looking really strong, and I have been one of the few supporters of this theory where Ethereum has been underperforming Bitcoin for 2022 and 2023, but that will likely see a mean reversion quite soon. And this is already starting to play out. And going into 2024, I expect Ethereum to continue to outperform Bitcoin like what we saw in January, and for Ethereum to potentially reach 1.5x outperformance versus Bitcoin. This means for my Bitcoin price prediction of $80,000 by the end of the year, which is about 2x, I see Ethereum doing potentially 3x or 1.5 times more than 2x. So from the current price of $2,500, I see Ethereum reaching $7,500 by the end of the year. Now, Ethereum is not only outperforming Bitcoin, but also other alternative layer 1s is also losing strength against Ethereum in January. Here we have the chart of the most popular layer 1s that have popped off in the last 3 months of 2023. We have Solana in the main chart in black. We have AVAX, Near, Cardano, and Polkadot. And all of these charts are denominated in a ratio against Ethereum. So we have Sol ETH, AVAX versus ETH, Near versus ETH, etc. What these charts tell me is that since the October rally, all of these alternative layer 1s or so-called Ethereum killers have been going up in price against Ethereum. However, they all saw a kind of local top together on December 25th and have since all started to go down against Ethereum for the past 3 weeks. This is showing a clear trend reversion where alternative layer 1s are falling out of fashion and Ethereum is again gaining popularity. There are 2 main reasons why I think this is happening, and these lead into my next 2 predictions. My 4th prediction for this year is that no other altcoins will receive a spot ETF approval in the US. Now, there are many exchange-traded products and nodes for different cryptos like Grayscale's Chainlink Trust, Solana Trust, Filecoin Trust, etc. However, the only two cryptos that already have futures products trading in regulated US markets are Bitcoin and Ethereum. You can find these directly on the CME Group exchange product list, as well as CBOE, the same list. These are the only TradFi markets that actually matter. When it comes to stuff like Grayscale's Trust, these are somewhat more private offerings that are not fully accepted in TradFi giants' eyes. The SEC also sees Bitcoin and Ethereum very differently from other cryptos, classifying these two assets as commodities instead of securities in many lawsuit filings. In March of 2023, we saw the US CFTC chief has reinforced his view on Ether being a commodity. And then later on in August 2023, the US court also called Ethereum a commodity when dealing with a lawsuit against Uniswap. And if you're still unsure, BlackRock did already file an Ethereum Spot ETF, which is the real kicker that makes this ETF so much more likely to be approved. Because BlackRock is the biggest asset manager in the world, they have a 99.8% approval rate for new ETF filings. And this was the real differentiator that moved the Bitcoin Spot ETF to actually get approved. Even if other altcoin ETFs are to come, I just don't see the point of trying to guess which coin will be next after Ethereum, as that kind of information will never be accessible by the public investors. So any early information is likely baseless claims. The only credible information is if any TradFi firms from the US, from Wall Street, actually files for altcoin ETFs similar to the Bitcoin and Ethereum counterparts. Until that happens, I'd rather bet on the Ethereum Spot ETF approval trade, which has 10 times higher certainty than other altcoin ETF rumors, and we can literally find the real filings with their final deadlines and do the same play again like the Bitcoin Spot ETF approval trade. Moving on, my number 5 prediction for 2024 is that layer 2s will make a huge comeback against alternative layer 1s. The metrics clearly show this. The total value locked of layer 2s on top of Ethereum is seeing exponential growth and is literally making new all-time highs as we speak. Today, there is $22 billion of total value locked on all layer 2s. The top layer 2 tokens are also starting to outperform the top layer 1 tokens. Here on this chart, I have two sets of coins. So in black here, I have Arbitrum, Optimism, and Polygon as the 3 leading layer 2s. And then in blue here, I have Solana, AVAX, and DOT, which were the top 3 leading layer 1 coins in the end of 2023. And you see here, although the layer 1 basket has outperformed the layer 2 basket in 2023, the layer 1 tokens are already starting to come down in price, while the layer 2 basket is still continuing to rally up. This chart resonates with the chart of Ethereum against alternative layer 1s. Overall, Ethereum and its layer 2 family is starting to outperform the market and become popular again. You can see the strength in layer 2s this month directly. Some of the smaller layer 2s, such as Metis, went all the way from $30 to $120 in just a matter of 3 weeks. Another layer 2 that I have done an interview deep dive on, which is Mantle, is also continuing to rally, and you see this rally is starting to tick up and accelerate, where it went up a solid 15% in just the past week. And many of the upcoming crypto projects in the first half of 2024 will all be around layer 2s. The most obvious one is ZK Sync, which is the leading ZK EVM. This is most likely going to launch in the first half of 2024, and you can still qualify for their airdrop by participating in their mystery box campaign with GRVT exchange. I'm going to make a full video on this quite soon, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to have an invite link in the description as well. Starknet has also confirmed their token launch for 2024, and other similar projects such as Scroll, Tyco, and Linea are also multi-billion-dollar projects that have had many years of development and funding, and they will all be launching in the first half of 2024. All of these are multi-billion-dollar projects with $10 to $100 million in funding and many years of development, and they will all be launching in 2024. One of my strongest conviction picks in this new list of coins is Manta Network, and as this video is going live, Manta should already be listed on Binance after the launch pool ends. This is one of the most explosive ZK EVM projects that have gathered over $900 million in total value locked in just a matter of 2 months. The money rotation from alternative layer 1s back to layer 2s is clearly happening, and a project like Manta should do really well. We shall see with the chart of how they actually do after listing, and I'll make sure to do a deep dive on this as well going into the next couple of weeks. I also love the fact that Manta not only touches the ZK layer 2 narrative, but they also collaborate with other industry leaders such as Celestia, Eigenlayer, to do all kinds of new innovation around modular layer 2s, which is another trend that's happening. You guys have obviously heard of the Celestia token and how you can receive a lot of airdrops from it, but at the fundamental level, Celestia is a technology layer that enables you to build any layer 2s very easily on top of not only Ethereum, but other layer 1s as well. So as we get into 2024 with all these airdrops integrating the Celestia technology, we will see a lot more pivot towards layer 2s instead of building new layer 1s. I know what you might be thinking. Do we really need these many layer 2s? In the long term, no. But just like the 50 other layer 1s that have launched and died, there is still plenty of profits to be made when the narrative is popular, as these projects are all well-funded and will create a hype wave with marketing pushes, exchange listings, and social media campaigns. So all I'm trying to do is ride a wave of layer 2s in 2024, and I'm not going to hate the players. It's just part of the game. For a full deep dive on the top layer 2s in the crypto space today, make sure to check my full tier list video, and I'll have that linked in the description. Number 6 crypto prediction for 2024's market trends. I believe crypto gaming will reach semi-mainstream with at least one major Web3 enabled game to reach 10,000 concurrent players. This would be a big accomplishment even in mainstream gaming. 10,000 concurrent players is not an easy feat. Here we have the Steam charts for top concurrent players, and you see once you break that 10,000 player count concurrently, you are essentially the top 100 games on Steam today. Why do I think this can happen in 2024? A couple of reasons. Number one is that it takes at least 3 years to build a AAA level game, which means most of these established games all made their fundraise in 2021, but are finally coming to market in 2024. I'll just show you guys directly some of the real gameplay footage that gets me excited. The two genres with the most potential for crypto integrations are FPS games and MMORPG games. FPS games are first-person shooters, and the most important titles in this area are Shrapnel, which we have already covered, and then another one called Dead Drop. This is a game made by Dr. Disrespect. He actually is one of the co-founders of his own studio, which is behind this game, and through his connections, some of the biggest Twitch streamers, including Tib Tatman, is already trying this game out and following the development actively. Very impressive. But perhaps the most well-polished, exciting game in the entire crypto space is Off the Grid, made by Godzilla. So Off the Grid truly looks like a AAA level next-gen game. You can directly compare this to Call of Duty Warzone, Battlefield, that kind of high caliber of graphics and interactivity, what you can do, what you can destroy in that game, and how smooth the game runs, the multiplayer experience. It's all extremely AAA level. Don't take my word for this. You can directly find the gameplay footage. Funny enough, Dr. Disrespect is also the one featuring this game, which is a competitor to his own game. But look at this footage. It's absolutely amazing. You can place this on any Steam charts or IGN trailer, and everyone will compare this to any other AAA level game, and they would not be disappointed, right? You would have never guessed that this is a Web3 game, including NFTs and crypto gaming aspects. This sector has really come a long way. Finally, I'm not ashamed to say crypto gaming is making big waves, and these are some of the clear examples you can try out today. And these are crypto games. They integrate NFTs, they integrate Web3, and I'm really proud that they are such polished levels today. A few other games I'm excited about for this year include Treeverse, which is this action RPG, 2.5D kind of top-down format, and the action on this is very smooth. I have tried this first playtest over a year ago, and I know the founder as well personally. Very strong team as well, and one of them has already listed, which is called Big Time. This is kind of a World of Warcraft type of clone, 3D MMORPG. I wouldn't say this is AAA level, but you can give this to any player to try today and they wouldn't be super disappointed. They will compare it to other MMORPGs and make a fair assessment. There is a lot of content to be played through here, which is already way better than what we had in 2021. We also have other niche titles such as Illuvium, which is a direct competitor to Teamfight Tactics or Dota Auto Chess. And we have Apiron, which is this card battler roguelike game that is a smaller niche, but it is very cool. The combat is also very smooth. I've tried this personally myself. We really just need one Web3 game to make it to the mainstream in terms of player count, and that will be a huge step forward for this industry. I will be trying many of the top games coming up this year, so subscribe to the channel if you want to see that. My number 7 prediction for 2024 is for the combination of AI and crypto to continue to grow, specifically in the area of ZKML. ZKML stands for Zero Knowledge Machine Learning. The clearest example of this is the BitTensor project that have gathered huge amounts of interest in 2023. BitTensor is essentially a decentralized AI inference network, which is able to take your inputs such as a chat command like on ChatGPT or a graphics generation command like on Midjourney. And then they will run that command through an AI model deployed on a decentralized blockchain, then respond to you without a central party involved. Why is this important? Why do we need to run an AI on a blockchain without a single party? And how does ZK benefit AI? You see, with AI products today, you really don't know which AI models are being used when processing your command. For example, if you are a model consumer and you want to use this X-ray model to identify your chest X-ray, you give the image to the model. But then the model has many choices, right? It could use a small model, which might miss your potential cancer to report to you, or it might use a more complex but expensive model, which could actually detect the disease. So once you get the result back, can you really confidently say which model is being used? You really cannot do that because the AI platforms today are essentially black boxes. You cannot see through them. And second of all, you really cannot protect your privacy data when interacting with AI models. You're giving your data away. This is where ZKML comes in. ZKML, put simply, incorporates ZK knowledge proofs into the realm of machine learning, which solves two problems. Number one, it is common to want to keep the inputs of the parameters of an ML model private. This is because these data may contain sensitive information such as personal, financial, or medical data. So when interacting with the model, you don't have to give your data away to OpenAI directly. Number two is that it is important for downstream systems such as on-chain smart contracts to be able to verify that the input was correctly processed to produce the public output. This is referring to the black box part. You need a way to verify that it was indeed the correct AI model that you wanted to interact with. So by adding a layer of ZK machine learning in the middle, what you have in this process flow is that the machine learning user submits their information to the machine learning model. This information is kept privately, and then once the results come back, there's also a completely decentralized and verifiable way to see that, okay, my results are exactly the same way that I intended them to be, because they directly correlate one-to-one to my inputs to the model. This is what ZKML is able to accomplish. One of the most important projects in this sector is Modulus, and they present this idea very well here. Modulus is like Twitter's checkmark system, where it makes sure that who you're interacting with and the information you're reading is from the real source. But they are using this same kind of system, but for AI outputs. They call it accountable AI. So Modulus and other similar types of systems can use cryptography to verify that the AI results weren't doctored. You can use this to do things like private identity authentication, tamper-proof intelligent finance, authentic machine artists, and trustworthy AI game economies. As AI is getting so powerful, cryptography is the only tool that keeps these powerful algorithms accountable. When we have both, we can build wildly expressive services that never betray our trust. I really love the way they put this. So the three most important projects in this sector, number one is BitTensor, of course, that everyone already knows. Number two is Modulus. And number three, much more sleeper pick, is Inference Labs, which is doing a very similar stack as Modulus. They are just a bit more early stages. And I think this one has the highest potential here. By combining ZK and the decentralized blockchain with AI inference, we are replacing the faith that we rely on the AI operators to always do the right thing with a cryptographic certainty at a massive scale. Look out for this trend in 2024. Okay, my number 8 crypto market trend prediction is for decentralized social media to become a popular narrative in 2024. And no, I'm not talking about friend.tech or other social fi projects, which are just glorified DeFi farming. Instead, I'm talking about real decentralized social media that is targeting transparent social media platforms and self-data ownership. People are quickly waking up to the mass censorship of centralized social media, and alternative solutions that focus on transparency and privacy have been a hot topic in the past 2 to 3 years. It's really easy for everyday users to understand why social media networks need to be built on top of blockchains, and I could see this being one of the top narratives this year. Friend.tech was really just a flash in the pan, and it is dying because it wasn't a fully social media platform. It wasn't focused on the content at all. However, the traction in this narrative is proven, and I do have 2 other strong bets in this area. Number 1 is DSO, or Decentralized Social, which is a layer 1 blockchain specifically built for social media applications. Funny enough, DSO was originally launched as BitCloud, which was the inspiration behind Friend.tech, and they were the inventors of social tokens. Today, the DSO blockchain is really focused on building a trustless, privacy-focused, cheap alternatives to the mass censorship-filled, social media platforms from the traditional tech giants. And they have completely ditched those DeFi-focused farming and Ponzi-nomics type of setup for a social media platform. They are really targeting content and sharing of content, chats, and individual connections, all on a decentralized blockchain. Through my long research in this area, DSO is the only infrastructure project that is still going in this direction. So as long as decentralized social actually picks up, DSO is at the front and center for the infrastructure project to go. Another social altcoin that I picked up this year is Inspect. They are building a social-focused layer 2 on top of Twitter directly, which is piggybacking off the existing user base. The concept is a lot simpler. Essentially, by installing an extension, you have enabled Web3 functionality on your Twitter account directly, which means any NFT profile pictures, you can see the collections, you can see other community members on Twitter that have these same collection, you can connect with them. And when it comes to coin-related project Twitter accounts, you can inspect their latest news and get their price movements, and you can vote on how you feel about this project, etc., all directly on Twitter. Again, this is another way to gather social communities around certain topics, and right now it works really well for a crypto community because crypto is so centered on Twitter. The social narrative is a sleeper pick of mine, which still doesn't have many legit projects today. But don't ignore it, this sector is really a blue ocean waiting to be discovered, so look out for this sector as well in 2024. My number 9 crypto prediction is for a new form of DeFi primitive to explode onto the market this year. What do I mean by this? DeFi primitives are similar to the crypto narratives that we had throughout the market cycles. They are the most important concepts to understand in crypto in order to make money. Now, crypto narratives are simply different types of coins in different sectors that you can buy, whereas the DeFi primitives refer to the widely adopted protocols that every investor uses to participate in the market. For example, 2017, we had ICOs. 2019, we had IEOs. These are both DeFi primitives, which are essentially ways for new investors to buy into new crypto project tokens. In 2020, we had Uniswap, which introduced the decentralized exchange, and the DeFi yield farming, which was another way for people to get project tokens early. Then in 2021, we had IDO launchpads, which were the ways for people to get into new project tokens directly from their MetaMask account in a DeFi format. We also had NFT minting, which is again another way for you to get new crypto project tokens. In this case, they are non-fungible tokens. You can even argue that 2022, we had a brief wave of Olympus and other rebase tokens, which were another way to distribute tokens early. And then 2023, of course, the most popular way to distribute tokens in a DeFi primitive way is airdrops. So this year, any project that doesn't launch an airdrop is not going to be successful. So you see where I'm going with this. Every year and every crypto cycle, we have a few very popular mechanics in which all crypto investors flood into and try to make easy money. Right now, the most popular way to release a token in order to gather hype is clearly airdrops. As long as you say my project is doing an airdrop, all the investors will respond very positively. They will all participate in your network, try out your apps. And this not only leads to a lot of users, but also these guys actually end up buying and holding the tokens as well. So this is what's described as the DeFi primitive getting a hype wave. Is airdrop inherently better than all other ways to launch tokens? Not necessarily so, right? IDO launchpads had the same effects in 2021. DeFi yield farming was similarly popular. IEOs, ICOs, NFT minting, they were all similarly popular when they first got hyped up. This is why in 2024, I think some form of exciting new way to launch a token should emerge. And when it does, the early adopters of these DeFi primitives will make huge amounts of money, even for things like Olympus, which was, very heavy Ponzi-nomics, like not sustainable. It was still hugely profitable for the early adopters. I don't know what the mechanic will look like, but for sure it will involve some way to speculate on new crypto projects before they launch. And they will have a certain virality to them so the users can invite their friends. My best advice here is to first recognize this pattern where all of these mechanics that we have mentioned essentially are the same things. They are the core money makers in crypto. And then going to 2024, keep an open mind in this coming year in order to identify any new ways to launch new tokens and try to be an early adopter in that. Okay, finally, my last crypto prediction for this year is for the crypto exchange industry to see a huge shift and for Binance to lose their #1 spot. Binance has continued to decline in trading volume throughout 2023. It started the year at 63% of trading volume, but dropped to 43% by September. And currently it's at around 39%. And I'm very curious to see the Q4 report dropping soon from CoinGecko, which will give us the real numbers. Now, after Binance's settlement with the DOJ and the CFTC, CZ is now gone, and Binance is forced to exit the US market, pay a huge $3 billion fine, and comply with all regulators in a full surveillance program. This means they will share all records with the US government until they are fully exited out of the US market and does not serve any clients there. Now, US is still by far the biggest crypto market, which means other exchanges will want to take this spot. Now, Coinbase could be interesting as they are the most regulated crypto exchange in the US and is also the custodian for all the Bitcoin Spot ETFs, which include BlackRock. So this means they are really in deep ties with the US TradFi giants, and their lawsuit with the SEC will likely be resolved in their favor. The only other exchange player that is coming up quickly is OKX. They have seen huge amount of growth in China and in the BRC20 crates. They were actually the preferred exchange from Chinese users through the Web3 OKX wallet. And some of their latest coin launches even did better performance than Binance coin launches. Aside from them, all other exchanges have their own very small niche, but is being super conservative now to avoid the regulatory trouble. Players like Bybit, Crypto.com, MEXC, KuCoin, Gate, BitGet, these are all legit exchanges, but not much is happening to propel their growth. So how do you profit from this? Since we know this exchange shift is happening in the next 1 to 2 years, who is going to split this 38% market share from Binance? I am very interested to see how this play out, and I am actively trying as many exchanges as possible that are quickly gaining popularity. This helps me see which exchanges have the best pull in terms of new listing hype and IEO launchpads, which gives me early advantage to find strong altcoins in close ties with these exchanges. For example, Apex, a decentralized exchange that is in close ties with Bybit, or you can bet on certain wallet partnerships such as the Trust Wallet relationship with Binance, or if one of the strong exchanges like OKX is heavily pushing one narrative such as the BRC20 crates, well, then you know that exchange is strong so that whatever narrative they are trying to push is likely to go up as well. You can see this very clearly in the ORDI and BRC20 trades we saw in the end of 2023. All I'm saying is everyone knows that Binance projects are super strong today. It is still happening. Every project that lists on Binance see a huge pump. So if you can find the next Binance level exchange, you can invest in all their ecosystem projects and have a really good time. Okay, these are my 10 most important crypto predictions for 2024. I love these annual reflection and planning videos. They remind myself of the big picture trends for each year. At the end of the day, I just need half of these predictions to play out and my portfolio should grow by at least 5 to 6x by the end of this year. If you like this video, share it with a friend and tell them to subscribe to the channel. And let me know down in the comments if you have any strong predictions that you see playing out this year. Also, join our free alpha and trading community by going to discord.gg/virtualbacon. We have a free VIP program. You just have to sign up to one of our exchange partners. And here I post my trade alerts, altcoin setups, and VIP alpha when I'm getting into new projects and when I see new interesting projects launching. Lastly, follow me on Twitter or X at virtualbacon0x. This is where I drop a quick alpha as I'm doing research for these in-depth videos. So if you want the quickest alpha that you can react to on the market to trade with, make sure to follow me on X. That's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.